Bob Iger and the Walt Disney Corporation like to say they never censor their films, but behind filmmakers' backs, they'll often go and make a separate cut for markets where they can squeeze a little bit more money out of those North American releases. Let's talk about what they're about to do to Deadpool here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is movie guy, Mr. VashSky. What are the movies, Vash? Are we going to talk about a movie today?
We are, at least a movie that we aren't necessarily going to see here.
Yeah, that's true. I'm probably going to skip this one just for content reasons here. Deadpool and Wolverine lands China day and date release, a first for the Merc with a Mouth. This by Nancy Tartaglione over there at Deadline. Look at that. It's Wolverine and it's Deadpool. That's Hugh Jackman, and who knows who that could be. They're wearing a mask. China's Film Bureau has approved a July 26th release for Disney and Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine, arguably one of the most anticipated movies of the year globally. I would say they're probably correct. Marvel's Weibo account announced the date this morning, Beijing time, which Disney has confirmed. Weibo, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, is kind of like their Facebook. It's, of course, as everything over there, it is owned by the state. The release is day and date with the U.S. and marks the first time since the Merc with a Mouth is going to China in step with the rest of the world. The first Deadpool did not release in China, while Deadpool 2, completely refashioned as Once Upon a Deadpool with new scenes to create a PG-13 version, was released there in 2019. Hey, Vash, why do you think it is that Deadpool didn't get released in China?
Because it was good. No, I'm joking. No, it's gore, probably some words and some things that maybe the Chinese government might not like spreading throughout their country.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The Chinese Film Censorship Bureau, their version of the MPAA over there, probably the MPAC. I'm just kidding. It's like China's Film Bureau. We put it right there. Deadpool has 1, lots of violence, 2, lots of jokes, 3, lots of language, and it puts Deadpool. I wouldn't quite say it's in the LGBT range, but it kind of puts him in that, let's say, more adventurous side of exploring himself and other people there. I did see the first one, or at least parts of the first one, in order to understand it better. I ended up skipping the second one because of similar reasons here, even though I hear the PG-13 version is cleaner. Once Upon a Deadpool getting released over there, that was a Fox decision, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was a late Disney decision, in order to try to see if Deadpool could finally make it if they went ahead and cleaned everything out. It sounds like, based on the marketing in the United States, that this is going to be a hard R and that they have not announced a PG-13 version of the film. China is, I don't want to say they're more prudish, but that might be a better word for how they handle things over there. I know, like, a Haunted Mansion, for instance, didn't get a release for cultural reasons because they have a different concept of the afterlife and spirits hanging around after people die. But this one right here, I don't know. I have to think that this is something where Disney might be getting a favor from the Chinese government here in order for this to happen. Vash, you have any thoughts on that?
I know that the Chinese government only allows so many films to be released in the entire year from the various studios combined. So if Disney has the potential to secure one of those slots with a film that they know is going to be a major hit in North America, and by all indications it is. I mean, the pre-sales for this thing are just absolutely bonkers. To try to find in the first week a PLF in my area showing Deadpool is very difficult. So by all accounts, it looks like it's going to be quite the success right there. If you have a slot secured in China, why not actually go for it in any way you can, I guess, is the mentality there. And honestly, it's not the worst mentality in the world, but it is kind of an acknowledgement of standards for that is the United States, but not standards for those.
Right. On that note, let's continue on. Disney and Marvel were not specific on cuts, but we understand the trims were made to the Sean Levy directed Deadpool and Wolverine are minimal and due to violence, blood and gore, and language. I don't know what else could be in there based on the content of the film. I think it's going to be interesting to see how long the actual film is compared to the United States release here. I jokingly put Deadpool, the original Deadpool, into VidAngel and set the censors to full to see how long the film actually was. It ended up being 45 minutes. So I'm imagining there's a lot to cut out of Deadpool and Wolverine. It makes me wonder if there are alternate cuts of the film that they might be doing in order to market this. Because, for instance, there are trailers for the film. There are trailers that play before R-rated films, and there are trailers that play before non-R-rated films. And I went to go see a film the other day, Fall Guys, and there was a version of the Deadpool trailer that was cut almost the exact same, except for the audio of one word in particular that was cut out in order to market it to a PG-13 audience. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of ADR work, because it's very easy to change the audio on someone who wears a mask all the time.
Well, that's true, but you're going to have to do something about Gina Carano because she's just way too fantastic for that country. So that's the other thing too. If you were going to re-release the first one, that's what you're going to have to contend with. Right?
That's a very good point. The Gina Carano, as I understand it, is probably not going to be in this film, but I don't know anything there. That's not a scoop. That's not a leak. That's just Disney doesn't play nice with people who take a stand for moral issues that they disagree with. Here we go. There are no guarantees here, as Hollywood films have continued to struggle at the Chinese box. I don't know why the word Chinese is here, except that they're only referring to China here. The top studio movie for 2024 there was Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire for $130 million. Which was handled locally. And DreamWorks' Kung Fu Panda made $50 million in its second place among Hollywood titles so far this year. Well, I can understand why Kung Fu Panda might have a market there. And there it is, the Chinese poster for Deadpool versus Wolverine. Yep, I don't know. I'm interested to see. There's a part of me that's very curious, of course, about what the differences are in these films. So far, I'm not planning to see the film, and I don't see that changing in the near term. Vash, it sounds like you are intending to go see Deadpool versus Wolverine and Wolverine.
I mean, you gotta do it for the job at least. But I actually was a fan of the Deadpool series right here. I'm going to be interested or curious to see how he's integrated into the MCU. And I think that's also why Disney is taking the step to launch this film in the Chinese market, because previously the Chinese have been pretty accepting of all Marvel product. So if they can kind of get this put in there, then I guess that's worth pursuing. I will say, though, that the Chinese market, if there have been effects on the American or North American theatrical market, those effects are far more profound in China, because they were going through quite the number of issues for years to their box office. So that might also account for the slump there as well.
Yeah, that's very true. And there was a period, the Iron Man 3 period, where they actually added in some superficial scenes that were specifically for the Chinese release, and maybe even some additional marketing, that product placement that went into the film to try to appeal more to China. It seems like maybe the Walt Disney Company and studios in general are trying to do an also-ran with the Chinese market instead of aiming specifically at China here. Maybe they've learned their lesson, or maybe there's a new strategy that will be at play here. Of course, we want to throw this to our commenters. What do you think about this, Disney sending this film to China? Are there any hot button issues that they will be judging all of us Americans for? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, like this video if you found it helpful or informative, or you like these kind of conversations. And if you wouldn't mind, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.